Good morning, my friends. Welcome to this episode of Heal Your Codependency. I'm Marshall Berkshire, and I help you stop fixing yourself, help you start loving yourself so you can create the relationships, the purpose, the success, the fulfillment you seek in your life, and that you deserve in your life. Today's kind of an impromptu episode. I want to talk about how our reactions are signaling us to our needs. So that's what we're going to jump in today. Before we do that, I got to get this shared out to the community here real quick. The community here on Facebook is a shelter where you can find additional tools, guidance, and support in your journey in healing your codependency. The link is above on Facebook, below on YouTube. Come join us. As a heads up as well, we are down to the wire on the enrollment for the Indomitable Worth Step 1 training happening this coming Monday and Wednesday. Come join us. We have 98 people signed up, so come join us and let's experience this together. All right, I've got that shared out to the Heal Your Codependency group. So, and if you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, guys. Let me know your thoughts on today's episode. So I'm excited to have you here. So let's have some fun. All right, so I was reading some feedback from students, and then I've been doing some processing work on my own and around reactions. And reactions, it's like, oh, what's a reaction? It's like this anxiety that shows up, this panic, or this impulse to please, or this impulse to withdraw and hide, or this ache to be touched, this need to be seen, or this hunger to be loved. Right? We feel these things in our body. We're not always real conscious to them. Sometimes we're not really attuned to them. We kind of just sense it and follow it in a very automatic way. But when we start slowing down, when we start pausing and acknowledging what's showing up and observing what's showing up, we start to notice that we have reactive patterns to things. And they just sometimes are doing it over and over because that's what they do. They're reactive. And I can feel kind of like, wow, I'm programmed to react this way. And that's actually quite important, because what that points to is a repeating unmet need. See, reactions point us to needs. When in the Codependency Healing System, I teach students to look at their reactions through the lens of, what is it trying to tell me? What need is this trying to point out to me? Because it's a communication. It's a message from our body. Even though it's repetitious, it's only repetitious because it hasn't been fed. It hasn't been met. It's kind of like a cat that doesn't have enough food. It comes back, meows at you, you give it some food. It comes back, meows at you, you got to give it some more. It's a repetition going on. These needs that we have haven't been sustainably nourished and cared for in our life. And so we have the loop going on. And sometimes that loop's got an enormous amount of emotional charge behind it, because it's also, that need is encapsulated in a traumatic event. So we can't really get to the need. Sometimes it's the need for safety, but all this trauma takes that away, right? So these reactions are signaling us to what we need, and they're pointing us in the direction of our work. They're like, go here, focus here, care for yourself here. Because most of the time, and let me know in the comments below if this is familiar to your experience, when we have reactions, we kick in the, I'm going to fix myself now. I'm going to stop trying to be needful. I'm too needy. I'm too much. I got to fix this reaction and fix this feeling, or this ache, or this pain. We kick immediately into the idea that there is something flawed in us that we have to then go in and correct, so that we no longer are experiencing this or demonstrating this in our life. This comes from being habitually, consistently, regularly neglected, criticized, and denied care for our needs. Because people are like, oh, your reaction, no, I can't do it. They justify their lack of care because of a reaction you have. And these are things that started when we were born. This isn't something you just developed as an adult. These are things that a lot of us have carried for most of, not all of our lives. So our reactions, they point to needs. They point to the need for safety, the need to be loved, the need to be accepted, the need to be valued, the need for a play, for availability, for attention. So when these reactions show up in you, like you have an ache to be touched, you are craving the presence of a particular person, these are needs talking. So I invite you to turn inward and inquire about your need there. What you do, this is what I do, and this is what I teach my students to do, is we turn inward and we go, what are you trying to tell me? And then we listen. We pause, we acknowledge, and we observe what shows up. This is how we listen somatically. And then we note what's coming up. Sometimes we have an immediate reaction. I need love. Mom didn't love me. Dad didn't love me. I need this person to love me. We'll write that down. Because what do we do most of the time? We try to correct that. Oh, but this, or Dad really loved us, or Mom really loved us, or we shouldn't need their love. They're a toxic person, or something like that. Or we're not worthy of it. We shouldn't need it this much. We're too needy. We're too much. We're being codependent. Let me know if any of this sounds familiar, because it's definitely things I've done. And what I've learned is when those big reactions come up, those initial responses start to show up, is to write them down and then we legitimize them. Yeah, of course I'm needing this attention. Of course I need to be loved. I haven't been loved. I've been neglected here. I've gone without here. I'm starving here. Of course this is what I'm feeling. I've been through a lot of pain and a lot of emptiness, a desert of emotional connection. So no wonder I'm hungry. No wonder I'm hurting. This actually starts to nurture these needs. It actually brings in care. It may not, satisfy them, and it's really not supposed to, but it's bringing a little rain into the desert, a little comfort to a hard place in your world. And that's going to help you start moving forward in the work of identifying and connecting with healthy relationships, so that you can experience being loved for who you are, rather than having to earn it, or rather than having to be perfect or people please them to get something from them, or fix yourself so you'll be worthy of receiving that. These are important things for us to dive into and care for. Our reactions are signals of our needs. They're our needs talking in the best way they know how to get our attention. They're asking for safety. They're asking for connection. They're asking to be valued. They're asking to be seen. They're asking to be known. And that's got to start with you. You got to come in and go, I need to know myself here. So when I know myself, I can help others know me too. And by knowing myself, I can also pick others that are organically compatible with what I want and need and how that works for me. Because I can see how they treat themselves and others. Their behavior tells me how they align with me, how they're compatible with me. So this allows us to become nurtured. And we need it. We need each other. We don't need each other to define who we are or establish that we have value. We need each other for connection and intimacy, companionship, support, and play. It's to experience life together as whole individuals and to support each other in the discovery of ourselves. And in coming to really know ourselves, be ourselves by loving ourselves. Because we're an interdependent species. We find ourselves through experience with others and vice versa. It's part of the game. We turn inward and we receive what we are being shown outward. As long as what we're being shown outward isn't harming us, isn't attacking us, isn't pulling us down, That's where our boundaries come in. That's where being resourced internally first comes into play, where I can access my own truth and reality and my own sense of value, and then see how people are responding to me and see if they're aligned with that or not. Because if they're not respecting those things, they don't get to be in my world. That's one of my boundaries there. But if I'm not acknowledging my reactions, I'm not legitimizing the need they point to and caring for that, I'm not going to come to know these things. So that's the big work here. Our reactions are a guide back to ourselves. They are not something we've got to fix. They will actually change or stop entirely as we start getting those needs met and resolving the pain that gives them their emotional charge. That's kind of the cool thing, is when we get into a caring cycle with our reactions and our triggers, they break apart, they dissolve. Sometimes that's quick, sometimes that takes some time. But they start to evolve into confidence, to peace, to centeredness. Back to an alignment with what I would term those signals as indomitable worth. Like, I am whole, and I have the power to create and maintain safety in my life. I have the ability to create and maintain connection with myself and others. Then we're thriving, because those are those three necessities that codependency tries to meet for us. That safety, connection, and value identity, sometimes called worth identity. Like, what is my worth and who am I from it? That's what we're really doing here. Satisfying our need, or nourishing those needs in healthy ways, so that we don't have to be codependent to get them met. Let me know your thoughts in today's video. And here's what I invite you to do. With your reactions that show up in your world today, take a moment to acknowledge them. Hey, I see you. And then inquire, what are you trying to tell me I need right now? And then listen. Pause, acknowledge, and observe what shows up. And let's see what you discover about what you need right now. Because that gives you the direction of your work. So you can start understanding that need, understanding how it works for you, and who's compatible with that, so that you can start nurturing it in your life. That's what the healing work is about. So there you go, my friends. Just as a heads up again, enrollment for the Indomitable Worth Step 1 training, Possibility and Discovery, closes here in about 24 hours. It'll close tomorrow, so maybe 36 hours, something like that. And then we start Monday, and class 1 is on Monday, class 2 is on Wednesday of next week. So come join us. Link is above on Facebook, below on YouTube, and it's on the front page of my website at freetheself.com. So come join us. And then I will see you guys next week. We'll have a couple more episodes before I go on holiday break, and then I'll be back with you in December. Okay? Have a great day, guys. Go gently with yourselves, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.